All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, doing the late night edition, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. Kind of the split screen, the smaller me and the big words up on your screen. Going to be talking about this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, and I figured I'd do some commentary about it. It's just so disappointing in so many different ways, and I don't know if I'm going to capture my level of disdain or disappointment with all of this as a music fan, as a rock fan. Best of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction from Sheryl Crow, Missy Elliott, and Willie Nelson. Wow. This had to be one of the worst lists of performers, inductees in the history of the Hall of Fame. There was nobody who got in where you were like, oh man, I'm just so excited about this. I'm so glad for them, right? Kate Bush gets in. She doesn't even show up for the ceremony. She gives a nice little polite sort of English, I was going to say middle finger, but I don't think she did that. I think she's very excited, but she couldn't be there. So anyway, and we could talk about why is Kate Bush in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Why? Is it her tremendous body of work? Is it her plethora of radio singles? No, I can't even go there right now. So Sheryl Crow showcased her versatility. Missy Elliott literally lit up the stage, and Rage Against the Machine, or rather Tom Morello, erupted with a message to stir up a big load of trouble. Okay. So if Tom Morello had stuff to say, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't agree with anything he had to say. The spirit of music, I love this. The spirit of music, not just rock, pop, rap, R&B, and country. It's just the spirit of music. It's just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, dude. It's not about rock and roll anymore, man. Commandeered, took over like aliens landing at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn Friday when the 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony returned to the East Coast after a detour. Isn't this supposed to be in like Cleveland? Aren't they supposed to do this in Cleveland? So they're doing it now on the East Coast. They did it. What? Cleveland is not cool, even though that's where the Hall of Fame is located, right? That doesn't make any sense, as usual. So, folks, I was wrong about this not being put on television. For the first time in its 38-year history, the 4.5-hour production, stuffed with performances and speeches, streamed live on Disney Plus. It's now available on demand. So I have been getting inundated on other channels that I watch with, whether it's Paramount Plus or Disney Plus. Oh yeah, you have to subscribe. You have to become a subscriber to these things, and two failed American institutions getting together, Disney over here and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame working together to double up or double down on their failure. A summarized 3-hour edition will air January for summarized. Oh my. Along with Crow, Elliott, and Rage Against the Machine, this year's eclectic class of performers inductees include Willie Nelson, okay, the Spinners, who I think are the only artist on this list I would have put in. I'm dead serious. The Spinners from the Motown era, the 70s soul era, the great Tom Bell producer. Yeah, Spinners, sure. Kate Bush, again, who had one of her songs get into Stranger Things and is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. George Michael. Hey, when I think rock and roll, I think of George Michael, right? He had that super long career that went from 1983 to maybe the early 90s, maybe. Anyway, he was the victor of the fan vote George Michael. Well, at least it was a name they could recognize. Yeah, let's vote for the guy that we recognize that name. You got to have faith. So let's put in George Michael. 1 million votes. Congratulations. That shows you where we are today. The musical influence nods spotlighted DJ Kool Herc, whom inductor LL Cool J lauded as one of the founding fathers of hip hop, and Link Wray, whose legacy was honored with a surprise appearance by Led Zeppelin icon Jimmy Page playing Rumble. First time Jimmy has showed up for anything. He missed the Jeff Beck tribute, but he showed up to play Link Wray's Rumble. If you don't know who Link Wray is, I'm hoping it's not Way. I'm pretty sure it's Ray, but this is a little before my time. You'll have to get the rock and roll or the blues dictionaries out and figure it out. Chaka Khan beaming through is Chaka Khan always at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? She's always there, beaming through a medley because she checks off a couple of boxes. Let's just bring her back in, including I Feel For You with Common and Sweet Thing with HER. All right. And if you don't know what that all is, again, veteran musician, producer, songwriter Al Kooper. It's nice to see somebody who's actually involved in the rock industry. And Elton John's lyrical, I don't know what this word is, and I don't want to screw it up, lyrical partner, the guy who wrote all the songs, Bernie Taupin, were tapped for the Musical Excellence Award. So we're not putting you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Al Kooper or Bernie Taupin, but we're going to give you this award. This is what they did with Judas Priest last year. All right. While Soul Train legend Don Cornelius was remembered with the Ahmet Ertegun Award. Okay, so Soul Train legend Don Cornelius, which it was a groundbreaking television show. I don't know if Don was a musician, but apparently he gets an award for having this really cool TV show. And they talk about, here are some more standout moments from the show. Sheryl Crow singing with Stevie Nicks. Okay. Not a big surprise there. Stevie Nicks, too. She's going to be showing up at every Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from here on forward. Olivia Rodrigo and Peter Frampton. Who's Olivia Rodrigo? Anyway, call it a display of generational respect. I'm just so excited about this. Crow kicked off the ceremony with If It Makes You Happy, It's Woozy Shuffle, complemented by her heavily strummed guitar. Heavily strummed. But standing next to her was budding star Rodrigo, coltish and cute as she aped Crow's delivery of the "Then Why the Hell Are You So Sad" lyric. Oh, one of the great lyrics, really, of all time. Sheryl Crow had a couple of big hit songs in the 90s, right? And she's in the Hall of Fame. Her body of work demands it. She broke new ground. No, she actually didn't. She kind of piggybacked off of all of those ladies from the 1970s who are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then one of Crow's heroes, Stevie Nicks, appeared in Shimmering Black. Shimmering Black. What are you wearing tonight? I'm wearing shimmering. What are you wearing? To duet on a twangy reed. I love how they write things. It's a reed interpretation. It's a reed of Strong Enough. And the performance culminated with the addition of another Crow darling. Oh, a Crow darling. Is that like when something falls on the ground and a crow flies down and pick it up and fly away? I'm sorry, just kind of doing that stream of consciousness thing here. Anyway, the Crow darling here is Peter Frampton, who played while seated on the stage and ripped out a sizzling guitar solo during Every Day is a Winding Road. That song is so annoying. If you live through the 90s, that Every Day is a Winding Road is one of the most annoying songs from the 1990s. And I said it. Andrew Ridgeley inducting George Michael. I believe Andrew was the other part of Wham. Remember Wham? Why didn't they put Wham in? They could have put Why not Wham? While the lineup of singers tapped to honor Michael's memory, Miguel, Careless Whisper, Adam Levine, Faith, and Carrie Underwood, One More Try, was Let's Just Say Curious. Oh, so they're thinking it's kind of weird. Andrew Ridgeley proved the ideal choice to induct the man he still calls Yog. Okay, I don't know what that means. Looking prim in a plum suit. He's looking prim in plum. You know, folks, there is a crisis when you read these things. It's just a crisis of the writing. Between the forced creativity of the writing and how stuff just has to flow in a certain way. You just can't, somebody just can't write, he looked nice in the suit. He looked great in his suit. He looked prim in the plum. Ridgeley reminisced about his and Michael's extreme success with Wham. Now you have to put the exclamation point on Wham. The realization of everything I've aspired to. Everything. I didn't want to be a good father. I didn't want to be a good husband. I didn't want to have good friendships. It's everything I've aspired to be. Michael's extensive and varied list of collaborators, Paul McCartney, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, and Tony Bennett among them, and their lifelong friendship. Ridgeley praised Michael, who died in 2016, for his songwriting prowess, his supple voice, and music that could cause listeners to soar with joy or weep with pain. I'm weeping with pain right now reading this. That's how painful this is. His pain healed ours, and his grace gave us hope. He's the Messiah. His grace gave hope, Ridgeley said in the most elegant speech of the night. New edition, honoring the Spinners. Okay, I guess. None of the Spinners were present to accept their award, but that didn't quell the appreciation from New Edition, who possess plenty of Spinners DNA. No, they don't. Oh my gosh, they don't. Okay, they have some. They're an R&B group, and the Spinners were an R&B group. To compare New Edition to the Spinners is like comparing Bud Light to vintage wine. All right, I know. That's all I could come up with. They were clad. They weren't wearing anything, but they were clad in matching burgundy crushed velvet jackets and fedoras. Oh, got to have those fedoras. The group, including Bobby Brown, who I blame for the fact that Whitney Houston isn't here, spun through coordinated dance moves and downy harmonies on soul staples, songs that are way above their pay grade. Sorry, I'll Be Around, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love, and the Rubber Band Man, turning the stage into a set from Soul Train for the latter. Willie Nelson, who is a great musician, I'm not going to knock Willie, performing with Chris Stapleton, Dave Matthews, and Sheryl Crow is back. Willie Nelson, who is 90, appeared on stage, seated with his guitar. Thanks for appreciating my music, he said, then joked, I haven't even died yet, and I'm being inducted. That was a good line. Willie, did he save the broadcast? I don't think so. Chris Stapleton played and sang alongside Willie Nelson for Whiskey River. Crow returned, her voice honeyed. She added a little honey to her voice for Crazy, and Matthews joined the party for a spry rendition of On the Road Again. Elton John calling Bernie Taupin a conjurer of cinema in words. Yes, hearing John play a solo piano version of Tiny Dancer was thrilling, but even more captivating was his in-depth speech about the man he calls a best friend and a brother, and the kismet that sometimes causes paths to merge. What's a kismet? We scaled heights we never thought were possible and never ever had an argument, John said, adding with a grin, he was disgusted with my behavior, that's a given. Wonder about, well, I was wondering how disgusted he may have been, but you know, they were making lots and lots of money together. John disclosed that he and his lifelong lyricist just finished an album in Los Angeles. 56 years into their partnership, that is full of youth and vitality. Oh, it appears that it's for the youth culture, right? Because that's all that really matters here. But he saved his most complimentary words for Toppin until the end. Again, they repeat this conjurer of cinema in words. In other words, he wrote really good songs, Elton. Can you just say he wrote really good songs? Missy Elliott lighting up the stage as she made history. The first female rapper. Oh, we broke new ground. We broke the glass ceiling. So Missy Elliott is a female rapper. And she's the first one to ever be inducted into the Rock, look at the air quotes, Rock Hall, okay? She provided the most incendiary performance of the show and a fitting closer considering there was no all-star finale as in years past. A slew of dancers with neon masks because COVID flooded the stage for Get Your Freak On. So if you missed Get Your Freak On, I don't know how you're going to have a good weekend here. As Elliott appeared among them, resplendent in a gold sequined tracksuit and hat. The full-scale production, frenzied lights, plumes of smoke. Plumes. Give me more plumes. Included her dancers in yellow jackets for The Rain, Super Duper Fly, and lined up for a coordinated footwork during Pass the Dutch. Okay, wonder what that's about. Elliott, clearly relishing her time on stage, zipped through the crowd before rejoining her dance team for Lose Control. As Elliott wrapped up her performance, her inductor, Queen Latifah, is Queen Latifah in the Hall of Fame yet? I think she might be, actually. Stood on the side of the stage, hopping and bowing toward her friend, one of the most innovative artists in hip-hop. So there you go. That's the end of that incredible description of what you missed last night, courtesy of Disney Plus. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Here's the serious part of this. There really needs to be a parallel institution that starts recognizing rock and roll. Even though I like the Spinners and the Spinners should be in this institution, technically, are they rock and roll? No, I'd put them in out of respect. But everybody else, Sheryl Crow? I mean, yeah, Sheryl Crow is technically rock and roll, but why Sheryl Crow? We all know why Sheryl Crow, right? We all know. Because it's about putting in more women to make up for the fact, because on paper, you look in the institution, holy crap, Batman, they've put in all of these men, all of these bands with men in them. And so they just rush to put Kate Bush, even worse than Sheryl Crow, I have to say. I mean, Kate Bush, to me, at least the music isn't as annoying as Sheryl Crow, but Sheryl Crow has made some of the most annoying records in the history of popular music in the 90s. Just, I would always flip the station, and I still do when I hear her. All I want to do is have some fun. No, all I want to do is change the station. That's what I want to do at that point. I just want to change the station. So anyway, this has to be one of the worst inductions. Like if you were pregnant, you were going to give birth, we induced you, and this is what came out. And this is the best they could do. And the fans, 1 million votes for George Michael. I forget who else was nominated, but the list wasn't all that impressive. And so the only solution to this problem is to create another institution, a parallel economy with this, and just put in the people that deserve to get in there. Now, as we move forward too, what's left of rock and roll? That's the other problem with this. As time moves on, you've only got people to look back to, because right now, the present, I mean, what's the spirit of rock and roll going to be? All of this pop and hip hop and electronic music, and it's the spirit of youth culture. Here we are. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it fits the description, or as Dee Snider said, you need to change the name of the institution and call it the Music Hall of Fame. And then, you know what? I won't complain anymore. I probably won't talk much about it, but I'll say, hey, they changed it to Music Hall of Fame. So, whatever, anybody can be in there, except I may have an issue with whether or not something is actually music. Because some of this stuff, some of this rap stuff, I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. I just call me old and washed up and ridiculous. And those, you can call me that. That's I guess apropos, but I have a certain niche. This is my audience, I think, understands what I'm trying to say. I don't know if people who are, say, under 30 understand what I'm saying, and that scares me just as much as who they put into this once hallowed institution, right? Did Jan show up for the show? Jan Wenner show up? Did he receive an award for saying some of the worst things ever? Probably not. No, he may have been like way in the back somewhere. Who knows? I'm sure he was there. I mean, was he uninvited to the ceremony? Anyway, folks, it's really just tragic. This institution, which apparently has been around for 38 years, and it was on Disney Plus. So think of that. The two failing entities getting together. I wonder how the ratings did. Did people, I've got to subscribe, like all the old geezer rock fans? None of you, I'm sure, went and said, yeah, for one day or whatever, a month or whatever I have to pay for, I'll subscribe because I'd like to see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who would you want to see? Maybe the Jimmy Page thing? So for like a, 2 or 3 minute instrumental, that was worth tuning in. Yup, got to see Jimmy. And that video will be probably posted on YouTube, if it hasn't already been posted. So again, folks, that's my recap of this incredible rock and roll, one of the worst ever. And it's just going to continue this way. They're going to find ways to top themselves. Now, again, if you can get your song on Stranger Things, like Kate Bush, and there may be a few other people that manage to do this, you may get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point, especially if you're a woman. And if you're a woman of color, you're, again, the possibility just gets higher and higher each box that you check off. Merit? We don't need any merit. We don't need no stinking merit. Look, I'm for putting anybody in who deserves to be in. I don't really care about what you look like. I don't really care. If you're talented, you deserve to be in there. And that's the way things used to be. That's the way things ought to be. But that's not the way things are.